Hi guys, so today we will do this program which is called ThreeSum. In ThreeSum we have an integer array and we have to find triplets which will return the combination so that the number is equal to the target and the indexes doesn't have to repeat. So I is not equal to j, I is not equal to k, and j is not equal to k. And here we have to see that all the three numbers are equal to 0. For example, if we see that it's been given like this, -1 0 1 2 -1 -4, and the combination has to be 0, and then we found two of the triplets, right, and they are distinct. So let us see how we can solve this question. So let's put this into a whiteboard. So we have an array which is -1 0 1 2 -1 and -4, right? So this is an array, and in this array we have to find the combination whose target is equal to 0. So there is a target which is given, and we have to find x plus y. Consider these are the three triplets, and this is equal to target, right? So if we have to do this, we can actually break this program into this, right? So we can say we have to find okay. So consider this. The way to solve this problem is that if we take 1 as z, okay, target we already know, which is 0. Now what we have to do is we have to find in this array x and y, right? Which means we have to find x plus y, which is equal to zero minus of -1. That means it has to be 1, because we know the target and we know the first element, right? So now this problem is actually divided into two sum. This is a two sum problem, right? In two sum we had a program where we had to find two sum number or pair of two integers which is equal to a given target, right? So now what will happen is, if we take this index, right, so if we iterate from 0 to n, if we iterate from 0 to n, and we take first where I equals to 0, right? So we have to do two sum from I plus 1 till n, right? Similarly, when I equals to 1, which is here, we have to do two sum in I plus 2 to n, okay? And here the target would be 1, right, because 0 minus of -1, and here target would be 0, right? So target is changing, okay, and the two sum has to have an index, right? So in normal two sum we have array and we have a target, but in this two sum we have to update it so that it takes index also, right? Because this index is changing. If you see here, this index is changing, right? And the target is also changing. So here the target would be the array of I, right? Because it will be minus of -1. It actually will not be array of I. We have to compute it. So we will say let's call it diff. So it will be target, which is in this case is 0, right? And then it would be minus of array of I. So you can say diff basically, or maybe this target would be minus of array of I, right? That would be the target. So we take an array, this whole array, this diff will be changing right? And then I will be changing, and this will give us pair. So we will keep this pair in hash map, right? So for example, -1 0 and then 0 1 or something like that will come, right? So if we get with -1, okay, we get a pair whose sum is equals to +1, which is like, for example, if it's 1 and 0, right? So sum is equals to, so -1 1 and 0 would be one triplet, right? And then similarly we can have -1 some other triplet. So this way from 0 we will have some triplet, will 1 will have something like that. So we will get all these triplets, right? So the triplets will be a of I, and then hash map first entry, and then other entry, and then third entry, and so on, right? So this is how we will do it. Now for ThreeSum, let's consider this. So if we have an array where we have to find ThreeSum, right? ThreeSum, what we will do is we will sort this array. So when we sort this array, we will have -4, -1, -1, 0, 1, 2. Okay, we will sort this array. So once we sort this array, we have to find ThreeSum, right? ThreeSum meaning this ThreeSum is there where we have array, target, and index, right? That's ThreeSum. Now in this ThreeSum, what we have to do, we have to find the target. Okay, two numbers which is equal to the target. Okay, so in this case, if we are taking this, for example, if we are taking -4, okay, then we have to find an element, okay, so that element plus is equals to target. Okay, so the element will be the target, right, and then minus of -4, that is element would be target plus 4. Okay, so how do we find this element here is actually we can use something which is called as binary search to optimize, right? So we can use binary search because this is a sorted array, right? So in ThreeSum, what we will do, we will start with a loop. Like if we have an array of I, which is array of 0, like -4, if we take this one, then we have to find another element x, okay, so that sum of this is equal to target. Okay, so another element that we will find would be from I plus 1, because if I is 0, then it has to start from 1 to search another element, right? And that we will do using binary search. Okay, and then what binary search we need to return is, we need to return true or false. Okay, if it is true, then that element is present. Okay, that means that element actually exists in this array. Okay, that means there is an element x, so that -4 with that element is equal to target. Or target can be anything, right? Because here target we are taking these elements, right? So we don't know what the target is. It's going to be dynamically changing, but we have to find this condition to be true. If we are able to find this condition as true, that means we have something using binary search where this condition is true, then we say the other element is present. If the other element is present, right, and binary search returns that the other element is present, then what we do, we add those elements into the hash map, right? So I think it would be more clear when we will try to solve this question. So I think let's start in the first step is actually to put binary search. So let me actually just copy paste the binary search code, because I know binary search is already everybody knows about it. The only thing that I want to copy paste here is to show that this is binary search. Okay, and in the binary search initially we have array and target, but in this binary search we'll be adding index also, right? Why? Because we will be changing the search criteria when we are doing ThreeSum, right? Initially binary search would be from here to here, next it will change from second element, then -1, then 0 to 2, then 1 to 2, like that. So the range will change. So where do we need to do binary search? We need to add an index as well, right? Which will be actually the start, right? So initially what we do is start is 0, end is length -1, mid, and then we calculate. Here start would be the index, okay, and then the target is the target, and then we calculate this. If we find an element, okay, then we say return true, okay, else we do binary search. If we are not able to find that element, then we say false. So this is a basic binary search where we are actually trying to find a target matching element, right, in an array. Here the only thing that we added is that we added the index thing, right? So we can use this binary search based on the index, like from which part of the array we need to do the search, because it will make it easy. It will be n log n or logarithmic rather than linear search, right? So this is binary search. Now let me put a ThreeSum code. ThreeSum is pretty similar, but ThreeSum code is that we initially, as I said, we have ThreeSum where we have array and we have target, right? Now in ThreeSum also, as I discussed, what we are trying to do is we are changing the ThreeSum in the section of the array where we are doing ThreeSum. We are changing that, right? So we are doing ThreeSum from here to here. Now we are changing from here to here, here to here, here to here. So we have to have an index also in ThreeSum, which is start index. Rest is same. So we have an array and target, and we are adding the pairs in hash map. So we have to return a hash map. So we initialized a hash map. Now, as I said, when we have an array and we have a loop, so we have to start the loop from whatever start index is there plus 1. Okay. So the start index is basically this one. So we have to use ThreeSum here, right? So whenever array is there, whatever start index will be passed in ThreeSum, we have to start our ThreeSum from, like if it is from here, then we have to start from the next, right? That's why whatever start index is being sent, we will do start plus 1. Okay, from here we will start, and now what we are doing is we are trying to find the difference, right? This is the diff, which is target, okay, minus array of I. Okay, and then we do binary search, right? Binary search, we are making array, we are passing diff, okay, and we are passing index, and then if it is true, which means if binary search is returning boolean true or false, right, which means you are able to find this particular diff, okay, in the section of the array, then you put that array of I and diff into this hash map, and then finally we return the hash map, right? So now how this is working is whatever we have explained here, right? So initially you start with -1, okay. When you start with -1, what is happening is you are passing array, okay, you are passing target, right, and you are passing start, right? Target here we know is going to be 0, right? Target is going to be, no, target is not going to be 0. Target is going to be whatever target we are trying to pass, okay. The target is going to be this 0 minus x plus y. X plus y is 0 minus of -1, which is 1, right? So we need to find ThreeSum which is equal to 1. So we need to find ThreeSum whose sum is equal to 1. So target is 1, okay, and we have to find combination of two numbers initially, for example, for one value which is equal to 1, okay, and we are starting from 0. So now in this particular start plus 1 plus array of I from 0 to -4, this thing is now calculating a diff, okay, and then it is trying to search, and then it is giving you a result. right? Now let's put a final function which is a threesum function. So let's see how what we have to write. So we'll say public static void threesum int array, and that's all, right? Because the target is already set to 0. So what we're gonna do is we are going to sort this array initially, because anyways we have to use the array sorted for binary search. So we'll sort it here only, and after sorting this, what we'll do is we'll start the loop I plus plus. Okay, and what we'll do is we'll say, let's say int element equals to 0 minus array of I. Okay, why we did this is because we have to compute this, right? So this is nothing but this thing, the value that we need to find. So now this is element, or this will be the input for the target one, right? So when we find this, what we have to do is we have to add it to ThreeSum. So now here we are calling ThreeSum, we are adding this, okay, and we are adding this element, okay, and we are adding a start which is I. Okay, now it is clear, I think, to you guys that we are having ThreeSum, we are having an array, we are having a target, okay, and target is changing obviously, and we have as I index, right? And that's why whenever we have an index, okay, this thing will be from the next, because this thing will be used here, binary search, okay. So it's like consecutively it is one step ahead of the initial function. So what this will return is, this will return your hash map, right? So let's say it's result, so it returns your hash map. Now what will happen is this will return you the pairs, right? ThreeSum will return you a hash map with the pairs. Now what you have to do is we have to actually go only to the non-empty pairs, and I think it should work. Result is not empty, and then you have to iterate through this, okay. So map dot entry integer say entr, just give a name, and you say result dot entry set. And now here what we can do is we can say system dot out, we can say if n dot get key is not equal to null, okay, then system dot out dot print, this would be array of I plus entr dot get key plus, I'm just printing this. You can basically store it to any data structure or array list or anything like that and use it, right? So this should be the program. I think this should work. Let's try it. So we'll just use this array, okay, let's make it an array, and we'll just call this function, and let's see if this thing works or not. Okay, let me put ln here so that it's easy to read. I think it's working. Yeah, 0 0 0. So this thing works fine, and that should be the answer. Okay, this should work. Yep. Okay, thank you guys.